There was a lot of pressure today, aside from the budget spin there, on environmental policy, splits inside Labor. Tanya Plibersek, we'll get to those in a moment. James, just on this line, they're trying to get up that nuclear energy equals cuts. That's the only way that Peter Dutton and the Coalition can make it all add up. And this line from the Prime Minister and the Treasurer that things are turning the corner. You know, things are getting better for families. How do you think this will go down?
Well, Peter, I think it is obvious, and it's quite frankly gaslighting, to suggest that things are easier or getting easier under this Albanese government. For 3 years, we've seen power prices go up. We've seen interest rates go in the wrong direction and they're only just coming back down. We've seen the only real growth in terms of jobs and the economy in areas like the NDIS, the public service, as you just outlined before, tens of thousands of full-time public servants and the billions of dollars that adds. The migration, which has just been a complete failure with a record number of people over the past few years coming to this country, and the raw dollars, the living standards that Australians take home have gone in the wrong direction. That is the only figure that we should be worried about. I'm amazed that this government has gone to another budget so that they can have very smart economists and the best journalists in the country forensically go through the books and highlight once again just how bad things are. But it's also worth reminding people that in opposition, this is the exact opposite, what you just outlined in your introduction, Peter, the exact opposite of what Jim Chalmers and Anthony Albanese promised to do. They said the coalition's spending off the back of COVID-19 was out of control. Jim Chalmers said that they were squirting billions of dollars around under Morrison and they would not done that. Well, they wouldn't do the same. Well, they've had 3 years. They've spent tens of billions of dollars. They haven't accounted for them. The books look as bad as ever. And as a result, keep in mind, that's before you look at IR and the changes there that's impacted small business owners. There's been complete failings in regards to the GPs and all this extra money for Medicare without actually having to require doctors to pass on that bulk billing in full. So bottom line, in every stage they have failed dramatically, and I'm amazed, as I say, Peter, that they've actually taken journalists and the public to another budget to highlight just how bad things are with the Australian books right now.
Well, I think that's because they all got spooked by the cyclone, James. That's the only reason we're here. That's the only reason we're seeing the colour of their money. And I make the point during COVID, Labor wanted the spending from Josh Frydenberg and Scott Morrison to go higher for longer. You know, there was nothing there in terms of spending being shoveled out the door that they opposed. So let's just go, though, to the environment, because, as I said, aside from the budget spin, the real story today was just how much pressure the Environment Minister, Tanya Plibersek, was under. As I said, internally, sure, but also from the Coalition. Have a listen.
In recent days, the Prime Minister has expressed no confidence in this minister by introducing specific legislation to curtail and override her powers under the EPBC Act.
Will the minister make a decision on the future of the North West Shelf gas expansion before the upcoming election?
With the Labor governments of New South Wales, Victoria and Western Australia actively extending the life of coal-fired power stations, can the minister confirm how many coal mining approvals she has approved in this term of government?
James Ashby, this looks like it's a new front opening up, but it also looks like the Prime Minister has basically hung her out to dry.
Oh, you bet. This is Tanya Plibersek's exit. As far as I'm concerned, it shows no love between her and the Prime Minister. The mere fact that she's been overridden on two critical pieces of Labor policy, one being the Nature Positive plan, which the Prime Minister hit on the head there some weeks or months ago now, and now this EPBC Act change, which has gone through the lower house today, expected to go through the Senate either, more than likely, it's got to be tomorrow. That is definitely overriding what the Environment Minister has had any say over. But keeping in mind that issue down there in Tasmania, this is how desperate Labor are. They recognise that every seat counts. They're trying to win that seat in the northwest of Tasmania in Braddon.
Lions,
in fact, Anne Urquhart, who's been a senator, she has now stepped down from the Senate to run in that lower house seat. She's very popular. She lives in that area. And to some extent, she's been very supportive of the salmon industry. So this just goes to show there's 5,000 jobs in that salmon industry. Labor know how important that industry is to Tassie, and they also know that if they can pick up those seats and steal them from the coalition, it's just 1, 2, 3 seats away for Peter Dutton and keeps the coalition out of government. So, yeah, it's very important what's happened today.
Just a quick one. I can see you're in the Mural Hall there. I know you've been in and around the Parliament. What's this word that somehow the Senate is not sitting on Thursday? Highly unusual if that's the case in budget week. What does that give you in terms of any sense of election timing?
Well, they're saying that they're going to bring forward estimates for the Thursday and host them here in the Senate. Which is very, as you know very well, that's very unusual. But there is speculation that the Prime Minister will make an announcement on Thursday when the opposition leader Peter Dutton is supposed to give his budget in reply speech. The Prime Minister is said, there's speculation, he will actually come out publicly and say he will be going to the Governor-General on Friday. But he'll do that Thursday, take the oxygen out of Peter Dutton's response, and then we'll be in full-blown election mode as of the weekend.
I said this to someone the other day, I think it might have been Sunday, I was talking to one of my editors saying this would be the skullduggery game. It still allows Dutton to deliver his speech on Thursday night. It doesn't, call the election on before then, but it makes sure that everybody in the media and all the papers the next day are not talking about Dutton's speech. They're talking about the impending election. And there is form too. John Howard announced it one day and it formally went to the Governor-General some days later. Hey, we're looking tonight, aren't you? I certainly am, at those columns where we've got decisions taken but not yet announced, because this will be where they hide the election pork barrel, James Ashby, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. But this has been one of the most lacklustre budgets that I've ever seen. I've been here for 10 years to see 10 of these, and there isn't the media. There really isn't nothing. There's nothing for them to announce. You know, typically on a budget morning, the grounds or the grass right opposite Parliament House is just littered with journalists from all the major networks, and they're camped out giving their assessment of what might be in the budget. We know precisely what's in the budget. There's not much left to deliver, and anything they do at this point will be fairly lacklustre. I don't think the public are overly engaged. There isn't the journalists, there isn't the media here. In the Mural Hall or anywhere else around Parliament. It's very lacklustre. I know you're not even here, which says something to me as well, Peter. I know you've got a full desk here in Canberra, but at the same time too, it says to me if the journalists aren't here, including you, there's something amiss this year.